Welcome everyone to this month's Astrocolorscope. My name's Elizabeth Harper. My website is sealedwithlove.com. Okay, so the idea of the Astrocolorscope is, in a moment, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the astrology, the aspects that are coming up for the month of June 2015. Then I'm going to select 3 crystals from my crystal bag here for each sign. And I'm going to throw those crystals into a circle of the 12 houses and then read the color of the crystal, the qualities of the crystal, and how that reflects on the house that they've landed in and what that means for you. I'll also be using my intuition to see what else comes up. And I'll be picking a bead from the bead bag right here for an additional influence from the color and anything else that comes up from that. And I like to do things in 3s. So we have a tarot card as well. This is the Voyager deck. So I'll pick a card for you. And what you can do then is take a look at the card and see what you are most attracted to in that card. And whatever you're attracted to, then you can ask yourself, what does that mean? So you get an additional message, but it's personal for you. Okay, so to begin with, we're going to talk a little bit about the astrology that's coming up, the aspects that are coming up. So we've got a Sagittarius full moon on the 2nd of June, and you know, with Sagittarius, it's the 9th house sign, and it's very much about, it's a fiery sign. It's very much about adventure and taking off into this world that is unknown. So with that full moon, when you get a full moon, it's almost like you're coming to a fulfilled place. So you're asking yourself, am I fulfilled in the department of adventure? Am I fulfilled in that place of philosophy, of education, of higher education, of learning, of travel? Do I feel fulfilled when I'm looking at a broader perspective of my life? So that's what comes up with that particular moon. And then there's a new moon that comes in on the 16th, which is Gemini. And with the Gemini energy, it's ruled by Mercury. Mercury is going direct finally on the 11th of this month. So communication comes into balance, and technical things, electrical stuff, it all starts working a little bit better. But then when we get to that new moon, there's also the emphasis on communication. There's an emphasis on education. There's more of a focus on wanting to learn, on wanting to maybe to expand your horizons as well. So it's interesting that Mercury going direct and then the new moon going into Gemini all comes in the same month. So there's almost a sense of much clearer communication, more clarity as well. There's also Neptune is going retrograde in Pisces, which is its natural sign, and that's on the 12th of June. And with that, we become more sensitive. You know, Neptune is a planet of imagination. It's a planet of psychic sensitivity. It's also a planet of addictions, because we tend to want to drown what we are seeing in the outside world and go into a place of fantasy. And so with addiction, it can help us to go inside of ourselves more. But with that retrograde energy, it makes you more sensitive. So it's almost take care at this time if you have this tendency to want to escape things, because with that Neptune retrograde, it's coming on the 12th of the month, and it's going to continue for a while. So just take care, protect yourself. Be aware that if you suddenly start trying to do something that is to avoid your life, that it could just be that particular aspect that's affecting you, and see if you can stay grounded and more in this present moment. Don't look too much into the future. We have Saturn that enters Scorpio on the 14th, and that's also going retrograde as well. Many retrograde planets at the moment. And you know, Scorpio is It's a sign of the underworld, and it's ruled by Pluto, which is also that underworld kind of energy. So there is a sense with Saturn going retrograde in this particular sign. Saturn is a planet of grounding and making you see things. So there is a sense with this that you're going to revisit unresolved issues, challenges, anything that you've pushed down into your emotions, anything you've pushed down under the surface. So with that energy, it's around the 14th of the month. You find that maybe you might be more emotional than you've been in the past, but it may not be about what is going on around you right now. It may be that something else is coming to the surface to be resolved, to be healed. Then we have, of course, this month the summer solstice on the, at least in the northern hemisphere, we have the summer solstice on the 21st, and at that time the sun enters Cancer, which to me is there is a sensitive energy to this, but there's also a feeling of brightness that comes with it as well. I feel like it's adventure time when it goes into Cancer. Well, on the 22nd, we have Jupiter and Uranus are making a trine. And Jupiter is in Leo and Uranus is in Aries, both fire signs. So with this, there's almost a sense of the road less traveled. There's a sense of excitement. There's a sense of adventure. So around that time, 21st, 22nd, 23rd, you might find yourself suddenly wanting to take a trip, or suddenly wanting to go into the kind of relationship that you've never been in before, or maybe going for a job that you didn't think you were capable of getting, or didn't think that you had the qualifications to apply for the job. There is a sense of luck that comes with that particular aspect, and it's been coming through already. Earlier in the year we had the same aspect. Now we're getting another chance at it, so that can come up as well. It may be that you're getting a second chance at something, maybe a relationship or a job or something else that means that your whole world opens up as a consequence. All right then, just as my cat came in to say hello. So now let's move on and see what's coming up for your sign. Okay, Virgo, so for you have some very pretty stones. So you have this chrysocolla. This went into your 4th house. This is a lovely turquoise blue color. It has green in it as well, and has some brown in it too. And your 4th house is about your home. It's about your family, your parents, your children. There can also be a link to creativity that's in there too. With turquoise can be about communication. So the chrysocolla can be about connecting and communicating and finding truth and speaking your truth. So there is a sense of, in your home life, it's almost like you want to find some peace, you want to find some calmness, you want to find some groundedness, a place where you are safe, where you feel like you don't have to be on all the time. You don't have to be on all the time. That's what's coming to me with this particular stone. So I feel that this month that you are going to find that sacred space, that you're going to find your little cave in your home or wherever it is. And it could also be that you're going to find a space for your work, or find a space for a wedding. Something like this is a sense of finding a space that feels good for you, that really reflects who you are and makes you feel safe and makes you feel at peace. But there is a sense of communication that's coming in here that's around that, and also the sense of communicating with your family and your friends of how you need this space at this moment. In your 7th house went a very similar color stone, and this is peacock ore, so it's chalcopyrite. And with this in your 7th house, it's interesting to me that these are so similar. Such a similar color, you know, palette. Except one has a dullness, almost it's shiny, and then the other one is all sparkly. So your 7th house, there is a sense in this of being seen. So, you know, if you're looking for a relationship, this is a great time to be meeting people. It's the peacock aura is about being in your power right now, being in your truth right now. It's a stone of truth. And, you know, so is this. It's like that whole truth thing is coming in for you. So it's about speaking your truth, being in your truth. Being in your power is being in your truth. But there's so much turquoise and green that's coming through here. Now, it could be that you are healing your heart or you're healing a relationship. I feel that there's an essence here of moving on from something. There can be a sense of feeling rejected in relationships. But I feel that with this, that it's saying that you are becoming stronger in relationships. And as a consequence of that, there's almost a sense of, well, there's power that comes with it, but there's almost a sense of you attracting some kind of new relationship to you because you are more, it's almost like more at peace, more in your power, more grounded than you've ever been before. I'm just hearing as well that this is about letting go of something that you have been using routinely to help you to cope. So it could be that you've been eating a particular food or taking a particular drug or using a particular addiction that has been helping you cope. But this is saying you're going to be letting go of that. I was just getting a sense if there was anything else I wanted to come up, there wasn't. So then in your 10th house went this amethyst banded heart. Probably see the bands better on the other side, the ones that I'm looking at. So amethyst is in your 10th house. Amethyst it's a stone of sobriety. So amethystos is the Greek for sober, not drinking, etc. There's a story around amethyst that Bacchus, the god of wine, loved. I think it was one of Aphrodite's nymphs, and she didn't want to be loved by him. He was devoted to her, and so Aphrodite turned her into a clear quartz crystal, and Bacchus, who was totally beside himself, poured his wine over the top of the crystal, vowed never to drink again, and the crystal turned the amethyst color, and that's why it's good for sobriety. So I feel with this that it's saying that you have put a lot of effort into something, you've put a lot of time into something, and it may not totally have worked out the way you wanted it to work out. And with this amethyst energy, amethyst is about change and transformation, and it may just mean that you need to see things from a different perspective. You might just need to have a different vision, that nothing is wasted. Don't think that it's wasted, because it's not. But now maybe it's time to start looking in a new direction, or just to have a different vision of whatever it is you've been building. So that went into your 10th house, so it's probably about your career, about your job, something about, you know, your public persona. But what's interesting to me is that this is your 10th and this is your 4th house. So the turquoise and the violet, green and violet, there is an energy in these two particular stones which is about a lack of confidence. So it's saying that your confidence could have been knocked. And so now it's time to rebuild. It's time to rebuild and define who you are. And what's interesting is the bead that came up for you is this magenta color, and magenta is about rebuilding. So it comes after violet. I often see it, this is my interpretation of magenta. I feel that it is that next step after violet of everything changes, and then it's time to rebuild, and then you get to the red energy after this magenta, and you can start building everything up. But this is rebuilding. So there is a sense here of something is changing in your life, and now it's time to have a new vision of what it is you want, so that then you can start building up towards it. So the card that came up for you is called Setback. So take a look at that card and see what you're most attracted to. Then ask yourself, what does that mean? What does that mean? So when I look at this card, I see this kind of swirling here. I'm quite sure that it's on a planet, but it looks like a hurricane to me. So it looks almost like, you know, again, something is sweeping through your life. It's moving things out, and new things will be coming in. It just might not be something new right now. And so there is a sense of a setback. There is a sense of something hasn't been working, but it will move out, change, and then you can start looking at things from a different perspective, and then you can start rebuilding something wonderful. Okay, that's it for this month's Astrocolorscope. Hope you enjoyed it. Do please share it with your friends. Like and subscribe to my channel. And if the message has resonated, please leave me a comment below. Remember that you can subscribe to my love letter and grab your free color kit at bit.ly/color kit. And also remember that I offer different guidance sessions from my website sealedwithlove.com, and I make crystal jewelry, and I also have crystals available in my store, store.sealedwithlove.com. I will see you next week with the Crystal Colorscope. Lots of coloricious blessings to you. Bye.